CRIS 4, Curriculum Development 5483, Leading a High Reliability School. Chapter 5, Standards Referenced Reporting. Level 4 focuses on the student as an individual. Of the 6 critical questions that were posed, 2 of them are confronted within Level 4. How will we know if students are learning? How will we respond when students don't learn? These questions are answered using data and information for each student and details their standing. This can be through student progression, recession, or no movement. Their needs and standings are identified and allow for appropriate planning. Leading Indicator 4.1. Each school creates objectives that can be evaluated that centers on student areas that are identified as needing improvement. Understanding Leading Indicator 4.1. When summarizing this indicator, 2 words summarize the intent and process for success. There are status and growth. Status uses measurables to pinpoint where students' current degree of attainment are. Growth is an indicator of the progression of a student from the first identified measurable to the current point of scoring or achievement. These need to be identified and followed using a proficiency scale. Proficiency scale. These detail where students should be in relation to knowledge and application. Measurement topics. Subject and grade level are identified. There should be between 12 and 25 scales. Tracking tool from beginning to present levels should be utilized and a consistent part of the evaluation. Status report should be established and documented. Using a proficiency scale makes an educational process within every subject area, grade level, and skill set visible and available for accessing in order to assist all stakeholders having information to develop plans for improvement and growth. The overall objective is to create goals and strive to accomplish them. There must be a collaborative group, including the student, using resources in creating these objectives. These can be complex, but many times the most simplistic actions can lead to the biggest successes. The pattern that should be established allows for the action and responsibilities to go back and forth between teachers and students. For this to occur, students must have an understanding and be able to identify objectives and goals. Lagging indicators, quick data, and continuous improvement. The way that schools can guarantee is to require that each student is identified and has a plan in at least one area. A statement as it relates to standardized testing can be used. Meeting with the student and discussing performance and advancement can be utilized within the process. Having a different teacher monthly go around and talk to students about their learning process and how the process is going. The responses are posted online for the entire staff to reflect and use as a gauge for student buy-in. Leading Indicator 4.2. Each school will collect, analyze, and incorporate data into the self, peer, and administrative classroom observations to assist in accomplishing objectives for each student. Tracking student progress. Using data to follow and make educated and analytical applications to create, follow, and evaluate student progress. Typically, these types of testing come from standardized testing. These will include ACT Aspire, ACT, regularly check classroom and specific areas for goal obtaining. Just like 4.1, 4.2 uses proficiency scales for school-wide evaluations. School-wide database entries can offer the entire school data to monitor and reflect upon. Data that is entered for one student should be able to be shared with all teachers that interact with this student. Students need to become active members of the stakeholders by following their own scores and progressions. Students need to take ownership for their actions and their progressions and be a voice in establishing goals and having any issues. Use of bar graphs within report cards can show progression and not be limited to letter grades only. Traditional letter grades do show student progress, do show student levels, but it does not show progression over the course of a year. And ultimately, that, as an educator, is what we are striving for, is student progression. Lagging indicators, quick data, and continuous improvement. All students need to be included and have goals set and monitored. Use different types of charts to show levels of progression, regression, or maintaining. Use different testing mechanisms. Administration establishes how and when data will be used. Data can be used in simple things as day-to-day applications. They can be looked at within PLCs or within staff meetings or school-wide meetings. The use of different testing mechanisms can include day-to-day testing, one-on-one with student, verbal, written, creative, or standardized. There are a variety to show and utilize this data. A data wall is an example of a way to show and celebrate students. Use the same lagging indicators for fact-finding and continuing to advance. The lagging indicators and the quick data and continuous improvement work hand in hand within level 4.2. By using these together, you can continuously monitor students and see their progression, regression, and maintaining. Ultimately, we want every student to be moving forward for in achieving high.